Content warning. Echo can be emotionally intense experience and may not be for everyone. Echo contains themes of adult nature, including violence, torture, drug usage, and harsh language. Viewer discretion is advised. That's some heavy shit. Friday. I bring my tripod back over my shoulder, wincing some as the metal pushes against my collarbone. There wasn't really much left of the old post office, but getting some B-roll of it seemed obligatory with the Pony Express history here and such. As long as I have lots of filler footage to accompany my voiceovers, I should be fine. I think it'll probably look better than most of what the rest of the class will present, though that's not a very high bar to surpass. Most probably wouldn't dare work over their spring break, so why the hell am I? I close my eyes, letting my legs lead the way as I step through the tall grass and back onto the dirt road. It's hot today, way hotter than it usually is in the late spring. Everything's kind of hazy too, like there's a wildfire air blowing downwind through Echo. Those unusual drive my allergies nuts, but so far I'm not feeling too stuffed up or itchy. As screwed up as it sounds, I always kind of liked when there was a big fire in state. I mean, sure, it sucks sneezing all the time and having the nose feel scratchy, but I love the burning smell and it reminds me of barbecues. It doesn't smell like that now, though. Now, though, that does remind me. I pull out my phone. It's 10:03 a.m. Jenna texted me earlier. Chase, Leo wants to set up his grill at the hill behind your house. Already early afternoon. Around early afternoon, I think. If you want to stop by, you can. When we were kids, sometimes my dad would let us roll out our little charcoal grill up there and try cooking ourselves. My dad always said it kept a wild buffer between us and the house, so we didn't accidentally burn the place down. After Flynn set a bush on fire in our backyard during Labor Day, I kind of understood the sentiment. I exhale, shoving my phone back in my pocket. Interesting. Leo decided to schedule it while Flynn is still working. I bring my thumb and forefinger above my muzzle and press at the space between my eyes. I sniff, smelling the faint scent of musty ash that seems to be clinging to my fur even after the shower I took this morning. And just like that, my blood seemed to cool. I get that weird stuttering feeling you have in your heart when you remember something you don't want to. Last night doesn't seem real. I can't believe shit like that exists just past where I grew up. How long has that place been around? It doesn't even have a name. I searched the address some more when I got home, but I didn't find anything online. I mean, I've been to gay bars before up in Payton, usually because some girl I'm friends with drags me there, but nothing quite like that. At least Daxon seems to not hate it completely by the time we left. Turns out the middle-aged horse guy was an old dastry, the term for people who really like Adastra. Daxon and him hit it off pretty well while I was away. Carl, meanwhile, was already passed out on the car by the time we got back. It was an awkward car ride home. Strange sense of sadness and nostalgia takes hold of me as I approach the faded white old brick structure that was my home. That white picket fence that surrounded the exterior is all gone now. The few remaining posts are scattered all over the yard, some half buried in the loose, barren topsoil. I remember Dad always made me paint it every summer, and I pitched a huge fit because I hated it. Working in 110-degree weather temperatures was scratchy bramble getting stuck in my pads, not to mention the dirt on the paintbrush. Dad never was happy about how it turned out anyway. He'd yell at me for laziness and doing a poor job. He claimed I had no aptitude for work, first placing the blame on me playing too many video games, and Leo. People are supposed to have a sense of satisfaction in their work, but every moment away from an escapist diversion seems to make me miserable. I coop myself up in my room with a big-ass plug-in fan, watching TV, daydreaming about fictional guys, eating just an absurd amount of cereal. I sighed as I walk over an old plot where Mom's garden used to be. According... Oh my god. According to City Hall, this place is abandoned and condemned now. I step up to the window of my old bedroom, squinting through the dusty glass and spying the familiar turquoise shag carpet inside. All the furniture is gone, and spiderwebs hang from every corner. There's some graffiti on the wall as well, a gang sign or something that looks like a crooked red number 8. Seeing it, I'm left with a feeling of unease, like the sanctity of what was once mine has been taken away. I don't exactly pine for the days of being stuck in there, but there's this overwhelming pang of awareness that those times have passed and are never coming back. The worries I had growing up are gone and replaced by these visceral, very adult concerns about money, jobs, debt. I'll never have a group of friends like I did back then. A sharp whistle breaks my train of thoughts. I spin around to see the silhouette of 2 figures up the hill overlooking the house. Leo and Jenna. After a moment, TJ walks up next to them and waves. Hey, I'm here. That last scene was heavy. Everything's heavy about this. So many things are affecting me. So hard. I lift my paw up, and like that last note he left me on at the gay bar, like the really grungy gay bar, really left a sour, not even a sour note in my mouth, just like a really like dense hole in my chest. I don't know. I lift my paw up, offering a limp wave in return. He has the most layers, and I'm so concerned. Also, the fact he brought up that he fucked Leo at one point, leaving me, Chase, confused. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a very, very weird note he left me on. Next thing I know, TJ is making his way down the slope, Leo right behind him. Jenna follows after shortly after. Chase, good to see you again. The lynx looks tired, all things considered, the tips of his fur tinged with orange dirt of the area. Still, he's beaming at me regardless. It's good to see you too, actually. TJ cocks his head. Actually, I blink. Yeah, what do you mean by that, Otter? Leo has a stern voice, his eyes hard upon me. I mean, you know what I mean. A smirk appears at the edge of the wolf's muzzle as he steps up to me and slugs me in the shoulder with enough force to sting a bit. Well, astonishingly, it's good to see you as well. I wince a bit from the blow. Leo reaches over and ruffles my head fur. Sorry. He grins a little awkwardly. He seems cheery overall. It's hard to believe he's the same Leo that just yesterday I was hiding in the bathroom cupboard from. I try not to look too tense. Next time, hit him harder. Jenna gives me an edged look, though there's warmth in her eyes. Jenna? She looks me over, then glances towards the road. I'm surprised you didn't drive. We found a picnic table in one of the yards of the abandoned houses. We set it up over there. He points to the base of the hill slope where, sure enough, an old wooden picnic table sits. And TJ was okay with this? The lynx frowns, digging his toes into the dirt. Well, as long as we put it back when we're done. You're becoming quite the rebel, TJ. I manage to smile at him. He looks slightly aghast, though Leo chuckles. We should put the hot dogs on the grill now. The bacon won't take as long. Jenna turns, making her way over to the table. Besides, it is a green, portable propane grill, like the sort you use for camping trips. On top of the grill are a couple Ziploc bags. We're gonna grill up these fancy pepper jack hot dogs we got in Peyton, and some applewood smoked bacon. That sounds good. We even got tofu dogs for Carl, just like old times, yeah? I hope he's gotten better at cooking since then. But where's Carl? Leo shrugs, TJ chiming in. Maybe he slept in? It's kind of early. For him, I mean. We make our way over towards Jenna. Leo's tails wag slightly as he walks. I set my gear down and peer at the table. The thing's dirty as hell, probably over a decade of dust and weather etched into the wood and metal. Can't remember what neighbor this belonged to. Over the years, there were so many. Usually hippies or retirees seeking to get away from the hustle bustle of urban and suburban living. Most become rather disillusioned with the idea of Echo being some lovely desert escape after about a month of living here. I glance up at Leo. He looks back at me. He's taking the hot dogs out of the packaging and getting them set up on the grill. The wolf doesn't say anything, and neither do I. He keeps making the same faintly awkward smile whenever I look at him too long. TJ and Jenna have sat down at the table and are digging through a weathered backpack. Jenna takes out the paper plates, setting out a small stack and weighing them down with a rock so they don't fly away. This seems kind of unhygienic. Don't worry, we won't eat off of that. She looks up and over at me. Well, just give it to Chase. TJ frowns and shakes his head. A sigh, furrowing my brow some. Look, I'm sorry I haven't been around as much this whole trip. I kind of regret it too. Really? Fennec responds in a tone of feigned surprise, though when we lock eyes, she seems to waver some. She crosses her arms over her tank top chest, looking down, then back up again. It's okay. It's been an interesting few days for us. I raise a brow inquisitively. Yeah, same here. It's like if I could feel the awkward tension in here. Like, I could feel it. Or it's just me. But, like, I don't know. I guess after the entire thing, it just made me feel weird. TJ reaches into the bag and holds up a few bottles of condiments to me. We got jalapeno ketchup, relish, spicy mustard, and a baggie of chopped onions. Sounds delicious, TJ. Yeah, I know it's a spice overload, but it was to appease Leo's iron palate. Hearing his name, Leo waves at us. You know, I read an article once that people who like spicy food have masochistic tendencies. Jenna rolls her eyes, glancing at Leo, then back at me. Only you can confirm that in Leo's case. As for the article, yes, I heard of that before. It's pop psychology based off of survey statistics. What about me? One of Leo's ears flicked to a point in our direction. Chase was telling us about your masochistic tendencies. Leo stops what he's doing, looking at us with a slightly widened eyes. My what? Oh my god. I cover my face with my paw. I wouldn't say I'm into that. You shouldn't be talking about people behind their back, Jula. He says this teasingly, stretching out some aluminum foil on the grill and placing the strips of bacon on it. Someone should have told you that earlier. You've been talking about Chase nonstop this week. Leo stiffens some and tries to laugh it off. What? Was just worried about him. I mean. He looks at me. With Flynn being all unstable and shit. TJ flinches at the swearing. I'm surprised the Lynx is unperturbed during the masochistic talk, but maybe he doesn't know what that is. I rub my arms apprehensively, peering at Jenna. What sort of stuff was he saying about me? Jenna looks in a way that she does when she finds herself in a position of advantage over Leo. Leo looks at her anxious. Nothing bad, Otter. I bet my neck. Maybe it's best if you two find some time to talk alone today. The Fennec looks at Leo as if having delivered an act of supreme mercy. Leo in turn looks grateful, keenly aware he has been indebted by the cat. Right, we're planning to do that anyway, I think. Oh my god. Jenna nods. Good. You all need to stop distracting the cook here. Chase, can you... Past the sizzling sides of the grill, clops the hooves of dirt becomes audible. TJ cranes his neck to peer past Leo, then smiles. Carl! And oh, hi. Hey, Stax. Yo. Hi. Carl immediately plops himself down at the table across from me, the ram rubbing his eyes with his fist. Daxton, meanwhile, lingers at the end. His eyes are on me as if waiting for something. Oh, hey. Oh, hey, Daxton. I didn't know you were coming. Carl invited me. I wasn't really doing much else today. I put on a smile, but seeing the two just sort of reminds me of last night. Honestly, Dax and Kutsu are best side characters. Kutsu, best boyfriend. Dax is adorable, and I love him so much. Good to meet you. I'm Jenna. Jenna offers a quick nod. Meanwhile, TJ seems to bolt up, offering a paw to the tall salamander. Hi, I'm TJ. It's good to meet a friend of Carl's. Daxton looks a bit surprised, shaking TJ's paw before looking back to me. He still has that same expected expression on his face. Daxton? Flynn's roommate, right? Leo strolls up beside him, spatula in grasp. I'm said roommate, yeah? Wait, you look familiar. Leo squints. You the Vespa guy? Dax looks back towards the road. Yeah, I drive a Vespa, why? Leo lets out a humored noise, rubbing his brow with his free paw as he grins. You came to my dad's shop about the oil leak in that thing. Daxton blinks in realization. Oh, Alvarez! Alvarez Auto Up in Payton. Yeah, I went there. That thing was a damn nightmare. At first I thought you were just using the wrong type of oil, since that's the most common reason. People don't know that they gotta use motorcycle oil, which lathers the transmission gears, valves, and all that. Plus it's less thick. But then the thing was still leaking, so I drained the overflow tube and the air box and troubleshooted. Took me about 2 hours until I figured out that it had to do with the piston rings being worn out. Problem is, your little ride's a damn special overseas import, yeah? There's no place that has that replacement part you need in at least 7,000 miles. I inherited him from my uncle in the old country. I guess that's why it took so long? Yeah. Can't say I've ever worked on a machine like that prior to you, so thanks for the experience. Like I was saying, my dad owns that place and I'm Leo Alvarez. Leo extends a paw, though, with less gusto than TJ. Leo. I see Daxton's gaze flick to me, as if pulling a bit tighter on the smooth face. He takes the paw, shaking it. Leo perks a brow. Judging by the look on your face, you heard of me. A wee bit. Oh, good, I hope. Leo smiles lopsidedly. Not really, but whatever. Your response elicits a collective irk from most of us. The salamander withdraws his hand and Leo looks a little gobsmacked. Your roommate Flynn? So I guess that's to be expected. Daxton shrugs, then moves to sit at the table next to me. Chase, if you got a minute, can we talk later? Sure. Salamander looks grateful, but doesn't elaborate further. Leo, meanwhile, stands there rotating the spatula with his eyes on the dirt. After a moment, he turns, heading back to the grill with an expression on his face that I can't quite make out. Jenna props her chin up with her paw, smiling faintly at Daxton. Wow. What? Nothing, just mussing out loud. Where are you from, Daxton? Salamander rests his hands on the table, rubbing his thumbs together. I've been living here in Echo for a year or two. Before that, I was in Coville, where I grew up. Ugh. Jenna stopped smiling. Coville? Really? What? What's wrong with Coville? Everything, dude. Coville isn't that place where the lampposts that has the little cowboy hat on top of them. Oh yeah, they had the cobblestone streets there, and I went for a field trip once. That place too rich even for me. Hey, they put up those creepy smiling native mannequins on the sidewalks as decorations. Like it isn't grossly offensive, noting its history. Oh yeah, they shot that big Western film there. The one with Jack Gilhay searching for some family's daughter that got abducted by the Mesta. The town sort of wrote off the fame of the movie for the past 40 years, from what it seems like. Daxton looks at all of us, crossing his arms tightly over his chest. It hasn't been doing well as it used to. Westerns aren't exactly as big as they used to be. It's kind of a shame that it's not really a surprise, noting how tasteless most of them were. Carl shifts awkwardly a bit. TJ, I get I get that, like, yeah, there's racism, like, within Colville and, like, the tasteless, like, Native American statues. But, like, my dude Dax is just uncomfortable. I get that she's a girl boss, but she can be an ass sometimes. Like, she's saying this out loud to someone who was a resident there, who is new to this group, and like is now super uncomfortable. Same with Carl at the same time. TJ speaks. Speaking of Old West stuff, how goes the project, Chase? Leo said you couldn't hang out with us because you were working on it. Jenna reaches into the backpack and pulls out a notebook laying in front of her. We were bored at the motel, so we did some research ourselves. If you want to discuss your findings, that is. I feel a little put on the spot, mainly because most of what I've done so far was shooting B-roll. Apparently, my house used to be a castle. A castle? Yeah, I looked up Carl's house in City Hall. The records show this big medieval-looking place. There was some sort of collapse in 1915. Living in a castle would be pretty cool. Not that I need more space, but you get what I mean. House Hendricks, the Lord of Echo. I would watch that show. Would probably have too much sex and violence for you, man. I truly doubt there would be much of the former with you in it. Carl lets out a little snicker before drifting his gaze to the sizzling grill nearby. Even Daxton seems to smirk a bit. If you say so. TJ flinches at the lewd talk and Jenna quickly shifts her tone. Continue, Chase. Well, like, this is the thing. Carl's ancestors founded the town, but I think Flynn's family are the ones who mainly controlled it during the 20th century. There's tons of Moors' names in the records for leadership positions. We were too busy making ice cream, I guess. Speaking of, I'm starving. How much longer, man? He calls out to Leo, the wolf looking over his shoulder. Unless you want your hot dogs medium rare, just a little longer. Jenna waves off the boys' banter, speaking to me again. That's strange. No, noting Flynn's species, reptilians weren't readily trusted by the majority of society in the country until relatively recently. I shrug. I'm not sure whether it's relevant to what I'm trying to cover. I mean, I haven't been able to find anything about the initial 1877 hysteria incident. It's like all those files are just gone. I pause, showing my lower lip as I remember something. There was some legal documents I found, you know, concerning the mine. I don't know, but go on. There was a mention of some sort of messed up murder happening in the mine of 1915 that somehow resulted in a riot. No mention was made of the 1877 hysteria event, though. Jenna pulls her notes up, eyes bouncing left and right as she speed reads. That's interesting. You mentioned that year earlier, 1915? The census recordings show that there was a large drop of population between 1910 to 1920. I couldn't find any economic justification for it since the mine continued to operate and the railroad line still serviced Echo. Daxton holds up a hand. So sorry, I'm trying to catch up to what you guys are trying to figure out here. Are you saying that these mine murders caused Echo to lose all of its people? The correlation do not imply causation, but this is for Chase's video report, not an academic paper. You know how it is. Being interesting is more important than being thorough. Your piece should be called Top 10 Reasons Echo Depopulated from Evil Mine Murder You Wouldn't Believe, reason number 2. Like, throw some boobs up in the thumbnail image and post it on the Pueblo website. I frown. I'm used to hearing how the internet age has made modern journalism sort of a joke now, but it still stings. This isn't for a website or anything. This is just a class project. Then it matters even less, dude. You're not even getting paid. Hell, you're paying them thousands. They should give you some slack. Oh my god. I need to build up my portfolio because right now all I have is fluff piece about Pueblo's GSA Pride concert. You still got a few more days, Chase. Isn't like you can't do your project and hang out with us at the same time. Daxton looks a tad hangdog, speaking up from beside me. I hope I'm not imposing on y'all's reunion time. I'll see what I can do, and you're fine, Daxton. The thought strikes me that tomorrow's the day Flynn plans to question TJ. I don't think anyone will be much of a hanging out mood after that. Maybe I should warn him. After yesterday, I don't know if I should give a damn about what Flynn wants. But maybe that's too harsh. Maybe I just don't want to think about him right now. I hear the sound of heavy steps on soil, and the wafting smell of cooked meat fills my nose. Glancing up, Leo's standing over me. He holds a pair of tongs on a plate of bacon and hot dogs. Buns and booze are in the cooler. As if rehearsed, Jenna picks up a small plastic cooler from besides the table. She rips open the packaging and disturbs the buns accordingly. Distributes, not disturbs the buns. Is it just alcohol in there? TJ sounds disappointed. I got you some juice pouches, TJ. Don't you worry. I don't know if it's just me or me being like around like very highly religious folk that do act like TJ when I was younger, but like I still find TJ annoying in that manner, flinching at curses or sex talk or anything like that. I'm very curious at how his route looks like. I'm going to do it after this because apparently I messed up the order. Yay, thank you. He smiles appreciatively. Daxton seems to peer curiously at the links before taking a hot dog for himself. Leo looks a bit reluctant towards Daxton. You guys eat meat? Daxton already absolutely covering his hot dog with ketchup. By you guys, you mean salamanders? Leo nods. I finally get a bun and begin to assemble my hot dog, wrapping it in bacon. Yep, we eat meat. My grandpa used to say that you should never trust someone who doesn't. Carl looks up. Except for Carl. He's cool and trustworthy as hell. The ram tries to force a tofu dog into his maw to hide the big smile forming on his muzzle. Jenna looks at them curiously, waiting for TJ to finish placing relish up his cut-up, bunless hot dog. Carl swallows, speaking up finally. I guess so your grandpa at least half wise, dude, man. Daxton shakes his head. Nah, not really. It was a major species and hated Jews. Jesus Christ. TJ chokes on the juice and a little, and Jenna pats his back a few times. Whose grandpa didn't? TJ stares at him furrow-browed and wide-eyed. Mine? Boys! Jenna gives a look, speaking in the same old maternal tone she's using since she was 10. I merely shake my head. Leo comes around and sits at the remaining spot at the end of the table. Chase. I look up quickly, finishing my bite of bacon. That is my name. Was going to ask you earlier. I got my speaker set up and hooked up to the playlist on my phone. Pick us out some music, will ya? He gestures to the pill pod looking thing with his phone sticking out near the grill. Any guidelines? Stay out of this sample music folder. He smirks with what a callback. I rise up to my feet and head over to the speaker. I pick it up and squint at the phone screen, the overhead sun casting a large glare. I see a few playlists on here. Which should I pick? Hip hop and chill music, Cause Angel Rocks EP, Pop Summer Jams, Club Beach playlist. I'll do the chill mix. Huh? Kinda groovy. Ooh, this is the shit. Jace must have picked the playlist labeled Seduction. How do you dance to this kind of music? TJ looks sort of perplexed. However you want to, man. Daxton makes his way over to me, handing me a spare hard lemonade. I give Daxton a grateful nod, hitting up the bottle top against the edge of the grill to get the cap off. Fortunately, the top just shatters and I look like a whole-ass idiot. Christ! Daxton just laughs, taking a swig of his own drink. Well, I suppose with that little gesture, it's dancing time. Jenna stands up as well. I'm not sure if this is her type of music, but she begins swaying to the beat regardless. Aren't you supposed to do that thing for a new boat? I'm still eating my hot dogs. Next thing I know, Leo was up as well, popping his shoulders up and rolling his arms. Leo used to be great at dancing, but that was when he was 4 inches shoulder and 40 pounds thinner. He's kind of giving me dad at a cookout vibe, which in turn is starting to give me a mild midlife crisis by proxy. Despite his questioning to the music, TJ soon joins them and balances things out, the Link's doing some basic shuffles. I look down at my feet. Fuck it. I'm an otter, right? Natural entertainer.